What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, and I'm here to bring to you my takeaway and analysis video for this week's game versus Texas. Before I get started, please, if you can, I really appreciate it. If you can, leave a like on the video. It definitely helps out my channel. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how you felt about the game. Was it the result that you were expecting? Are you shocked at the result? Or, are you somewhere in between? Let me know how you felt about the game in the comment section below. Whether you're a Michigan fan, Texas fan, you're a hater, you're a neutral fan, whatever the case may be, just leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you enjoy my content, definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel. So, before I get into my actual analysis of the game, there's a couple of points that I wanted to bring up and talk about before I get started with the analysis. So, first and foremost, I've tried to steer away from a lot of the online videos and comment sections and all that because I know it's going to be ugly. And also just wanted to stay away from it so it didn't influence my own personal takeaway of the game by getting other people's opinions. But I know it's going to come up that this result was 100% due to the fact that Connor Stallions is no longer on the sideline for Michigan. So I just want to nip that in the bud right now. If you think that's highly laughable, and it would just show your ignorance about football, college football in itself, and let me know that you're a complete casual and you don't know what you're talking about. It wouldn't matter if Connor Stallions was on the sideline right now, knew the plays, and told Michigan the plays ahead of time. It wouldn't have mattered the way that they played in this game this afternoon. This game was settled, on the field itself, had nothing to do with signals and sign stealing or anything like that. We just got our asses kicked. That's just all there is to it. And it didn't matter whether we had the signs or not, whether they had the signs or not. They just flat out outplayed us from all aspects. So I just wanted to get that part out the way. The second thing I wanted to talk about is something that's not a fact or anything, but mainly my opinion. I'm just going back to the timeline. This is just after the championship. And, the whole saga that was out there of whether or not Harbaugh was going to stay, whether he was going to take the job in the NFL, his contract, all that stuff. Now, if I'm not mistaken from the timeline, I like to think that JJ had committed, or not, I won't say committed, but decided that he wasn't going to come back for a senior year. He wasn't going to run it back and declare for the NFL draft. Why am I bringing it up? Because I think, to be honest with you, and I could be wrong, but this is just my opinion, I think had JJ decided that he was going to come back, I think there's a chance that Harbaugh stays. But the moment that JJ said he was out, I think that was the writing on the wall for Harbaugh to leave. Now, people say that he ran to the NFL because of the hammer coming down or sanctions or all that stuff. I mean, there's no way to know, but in my humble and honest opinion, I think that Harbaugh saw what was going to come down the road as far as his whole quarterback situation and wanted no parts of it. And once he saw that he didn't have his quarterback anymore, he was out. So I don't blame him, but that's just my opinion on that. So, anyways, enough of that. Let's go get on to the actual takeaways and analysis of the game. So, I mean, where do I get started? To be honest with you, um, I know the glaring thing is going to be the quarterback play. I'll get into that. But Michigan has issues that go far beyond just the quarterback play. That's the main thing, but not the only thing. So first and foremost, I looking back, I remember even a couple of years ago when we struck out on getting, you know, Dante Moore and settling for like, you know, at the time, project quarterbacks, you know, anything solid, but just some dudes. I knew it was going to end up biting us in the long run down the road. And it's like you knew it was coming, but you kind of just look past that because of the success that we're having. But I knew once JJ didn't come back that we were in deep trouble. And you know that the situation has to be bad if you're relying on either a walk on or 100th year uh, college student. I know he's not 100th year, but he's at least what, 7th year Jack Tuttle and a couple of project quarterbacks. If that's what you're leaning on, you know that we got problems. And Davis Warren, he's okay, but is he capable of leading this team to a championship or anything like that? I just don't see it. I mean, his ceiling is what Cade was in 2020, 2021, and that might even be a stretch. I mean, he's decent, but he doesn't look confident, and it's not helping that the line is playing really, really poor, which is issue number two. Um, our offensive line is the worst it's been that I can remember it being. And it's hurting us in so many factors. You know, Michigan has been predicated on winning the line of scrimmage, dominating teams, pushing them around, um, controlling controlling the ball on both sides, wearing teams down. And I just don't see that from this team this year. How are you going to do what your strength is if you can't even stay on the field long enough to wear teams down? And it's not only on the offensive side, but it's also on the defensive side too. But it's mainly from the offensive side from the standpoint that if you can't sustain drives, if you can't run the football, if your defense is just out there all the time, then I don't care how dominant their starting defensive unit is, they're going to get tired. And when they get tired, this rolls into the other issue that I've noticed is that we don't have the depth that we did in the last couple of years. So we can't sustain drives, we can't dominate, and our defense is therefore on the field longer than usual. They're not getting the push that they normally do. Now they're on the field longer than they normally would be. Now the rotations have to come in. The rotations are not as strong as they used to be. And that leads to all sorts of trouble. So we got problems, deep, deep problems. I don't know how we fix them. The quarterback situation is abysmal. I don't even know how to start with that. Obviously, Alex Orji is not the the guy that we thought he was. They made it seem like, all the blog guys and the insiders made it seem like Al Georgie was, dominating, like he was showing something. He's came a long way, and he was gonna be the man. And then when it came to game time, he's no different than how he was last year with JJ. Just a guy that just comes in for a couple plays, run the football, and then heads back to the bench. And when he comes in, there's no threat that he's going to pass. The defense knows it's going to be a run. So it's like, what is the point? You might as well just have Donovan Edwards run the Wildcat or Khalil Mullins run the Wildcat. Because that's all it is. Nobody is fooled by this. So, I mean, if you're going to say that Davis Warren is the starter and Alex Orji is just a gimmick guy that comes in, then just let that be. And I guess that's just what we're going to live with. But if we do, this is going to be a long season. I expected us to compete, and this was embarrassing. I thought that we would at least, keep the game close, but it wasn't close. I had missed like the first little bit and came back. It was 14-3, and I mean, to end that first half, that was what killed them. First, the pick, that was bad, but they held them to a field goal. And then Colson Loveland fumbles. That leads to a touchdown. That was the game. Now, I'm not saying that they would have won, but had they at least not turned the ball over twice in their own side of the field and just went into the half down 14-6, you know what? Maybe they have a chance. I don't know. But once they did that, you could just tell that the defense was deflated. Offense, just so many issues with this team. So I talked about the quarterback being an issue. The wide receivers is also an issue. I knew that was going to be a problem too. You had a couple guys transfer out that I thought would be key contributors this year in Camilla English and Darius Clemens. I thought they would probably be starters this year. But our wide receiver room is not getting it done. Nobody fears our wide receivers. So this reminds me of 2021 all over again, where teams were stacking the box, daring us to run, and it's because there was no downfield threat. Like, if you can't throw the ball further in about 15-20 yards, then you're going to have teams stack the box, bring a safety down, and it's going to be next to impossible to run. So if you have no deep threat, like, face it, nobody fears our wide receivers. All it is Colson Loveland, and that's about it. You might get a couple of plays here and there from a wide receiver, but that's about it. Colson Loveland or bust. So that's an issue. Donovan Edwards has been a total complete bust so far this year, and the running game as a whole has been bad. You can blame that on the offensive line, but just the way that we've utilized Donovan Edwards has been strange to me. I remember in his freshman year, that one game versus Maryland where he had like those 10 catches, and I thought the sky was the limit for him. I thought that that's how they were going to utilize this guy. have him in the backfield, have him go out wide, use him as a wide receiver, have mismatches versus linebackers. Why is that not being done? He would be such, to me, he's a mismatch, and it would open up the field. Have him and Mullings on the field at the same time. Have Mullings in the backfield as a running back, or Benjamin Hall, and have Donovan Edwards go be split out wide. It'll open up the field. Why don't they do it? I just don't understand the offensive play calling. That has been a mystery to me. 3rd and 5, we bring in Alex Orgy to run an, an option play. Like, come on, man. Who did you think you were? Nobody was fooled by that. Everyone knew he was going to run the football. Nobody thinks he's going to pass. And why would they? When has he passed the football? We're not talking about that little foot pass to Donovan Edwards for a touchdown. That's not a pass. Nobody thinks he's going to actually pass the football. Is he really that bad throwing the ball? He has to be, because they look scared to even give him a series, let alone throw the football. So that in itself, our offense is just abysmal. It's struggling. And our defense, which I thought was going to be also, our rock, our thing to hold our heads high about, that has been suspect as well. And I'm not even talking about being on the field and the rotations and the lack of depth. They looked, in some instances, they look confused, like out of position, bad assignments. It was bad assignments in the Fresno game. This game, that last touchdown on that swing pass, what were they doing? The running back motioned out and nobody followed him. So we got issues on the defense. Like, the defense looked like, even though talent-wise they may be quote-unquote better, scheme-wise they look like they've taken a step backwards. And this whole thing with Wink, I don't know how that's going to work out, because up until now, I mean, it's not exactly Don Brown, but it's teetering on that, and that's got me worried. So I don't even know where we go from here with this team. Luckily, we have an easier game next week, but man, I wish that the game next week was the game that we had this week, because we didn't look the part. We didn't look like we deserved to be on the same field with those guys. And it's just one of those things where, man, the drop off, the talent, top end is there, but below that top end talent, I just don't know. And the quarterback play, I don't know about that. How can you win if you can't move the football? So I'm not here to bash the team. I'm not here to say that we suck or anything like that. I went to the Michigan subreddit, and there's already guys out there talking about fire more, and I'm like, that is just wild and crazy. It's been 2 games and people are already talking about firing Coach Moore. Like, what are we doing here? How can you have such a idiotic take? The man has just taken the job. He's been put in a situation where he's got to build his team from the bottom up. He had to get all new coaches, except for a couple. You know, a huge chunk of the team went to the NFL. So this is not going to be easy. I didn't expect us to come in and go 16-0. That's just crazy talk. But I expected for us to compete. And he's got a lot of work that he's got to do. But talking about firing him after 2 games, that's stupid. So hopefully we can turn things around. This is a long season. The season isn't over after this game. It was an out of conference game. So, you know, obviously we have to play better, but we still have all of our Big Ten games ahead of us. So we just have to see how everything plays out and just be patient, and hopefully things improve. So anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching it. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please feel free to leave a like on the video, comment on the video. If you made it this far, leave a Go Blue in the comment section below, and let me know how you felt about the game. And as I mentioned before, if you enjoy the content, definitely subscribe to the channel. Anyways, thank you for watching, and as always, Go Blue.